Hello, good morning. Today we will discuss density estimation and the Pareto window. Density estimation. Previously we have studied pattern classification and supervised learning under the assumption that the parametric form of underlying density function we know. But however, in practical pattern recognition, this assumption is not always possible. So during this lecture, and the next coming lecture we will consider non-parametric technique for learning and classification. These can be used for arbitrary distribution and without knowing the parametric form and underlying densities. Here, type of non-parametric methods. First may be your estimation of density function, that is probability of Wi using sample patterns, and second, estimation of a posteriori probability directly based on sample pattern or prototypes. We will consider two approaches for both type of non-parametric methods. First is Pareto window and second is k nearest neighbor based. Density estimation is just a task of estimating probability density function, that is Px, based on a given set of training samples, that is x1 to xn. The estimated density is denoted by Px. At all time we will assume that the training samples that is distributed according to the Px. Here the difference between parametric and non-parametric estimation is derived as if non-parametric case we try to estimate the function p f that is related to r instead of a parametric vector. In parametric we consider a vector, but in non-parametric we focus on the function only. So we have a finite number of training samples, that means there will be some errors in the function estimation. Histogram is the solution for recovering errors, and here the use of histogram, they are simplest way of density estimation. The feature space is divided into m equal size cells, or they are called bins, bi. Then the number of the training samples ni, that is I equal to 1 to n, falling to each bin is computed, and the estimate within each bin is now depend on the vector, where V is the volume of the cell. All cells have equal volume to the index of the need. The histogram estimate is not a very good way to estimate densities, especially when there are many features. Particularly it deals to discontinuation of density estimation. Density estimation, in general formulation, we can generalize it as the estimation. Assume that we wish to estimate the value of the density function p at x based on training samples x to xn. If we think a region R around x, then the probability that training sample xj will fall in the region R, and that is always zr. P is an average version of the density function. Assume that there are only k training sample in the region R. The probability of k of the training samples falling into the region by the binomial density. The expected value of k, general formula of k, that is summation of k equal to 0 to n and kpk, that is based on the binomial theorem. Estimation of the ek by the observed k leads to the estimation of k to the power n. Assuming that px is a continuous and that the region R is small, so we can write it is just integral of px dx limit R, that is always equal to the pxv, where v is the volume of the R. And we can see from the previous slide that the density estimation is a space averaged version of the true density. In practice, this will always be the case when we combine this with any density estimation, since the number of training sample is finite. However, if we would like an unlimited number of training samples, what would happen, or how to design density estimator? What work correctly with an unlimited number of training samples? To estimate the density Px, we create a sequence of regions R1, R2 up to N containing X, the first region of we are using, and one training sample, the second with 2 or so on, 2 and so on. Here Ri is not the decision region. Ri is different and decision regions are different. So moreover, let Vn denote the volume Rn. Kn is the number of sample falling into Rn, and nth estimate of the density is Px, Pnx equal to Kn n to the power k. Unlimited number of samples. How many samples will be collected? So this is the question. There are two ways to obtaining the sequence of region that satisfied these constraint. Number one, shrink an initial region by specifying Vn as some function of n, that is called the Parsons window. And second way, maybe you're specifying Kn as some function of n and let Vn grow until it encloses Kn neighbors. That is your approach of K nearest neighbor problem. If we would like to limit n goes to infinite Pnx equal to always Px, three conditions can required. Vn equal to 0 when limit n goes to infinite, and Kn is equal to infinite when limit goes to limit is n to infinite, and Kn by n equal to 0 if limit is same. The first condition assures that the space averaged V by n will convergence to Px. The second one assures that the frequency ratio will convergence of the probability P. The third one states that the number of samples falling to a region Rn is always a negligibly small portion of the total number of samples. So unlimited samples, unlimited number of samples. Parsons window, how it will work? If we consider other window function, we obtain a more general approach to density estimation. This follows in the hypercube of the volume Vn centered at x, and the number of sample in this hypercube is defined by the summation of I equal to 0 to n and x minus xi upon hn. Here the Parsons window density estimate using n training samples, and the window function zeta is defined by the given formula. Pnx equal to 1 and I equal to 1 to v and phi, and the estimate Pnx is an average of the window function. Usually the window function has its maximum at the origin, and its values become smaller when we move further away from the origin. Then each training sample is contributing to the estimate in accordance with its distance from the x. The window function can be seen as if we want Pnx to be legitimate density, that is say equal to 1, Pnx is greater than 0 for all x, and the limit Pnx dx equal to 1. If we maintain the relation in between hn and d equal to vn, that is guaranteed if the window function is the legitimate density. So a popular choice for the window function is the Gaussian. Note that if Vn and Hn do not have a geometric interpretation anymore, they are related to the window function whose support usually spans the entire feature space. Window width. How should we select the window width Hn? If Hn is too large, the density estimate Pnx will be very smooth and out of focus. If Hn is too small, then the estimate Pnx will be just superposition of the n sharp pulses centered at the training sample. So that's an erratic noise estimate of the true density. So in practice, we have to seek some acceptable compromise, since the number of training samples is always limited and we have to be able to affect the number of available training samples. So in practice, one select Hn and then assert that Hn for making Hn equal to H1 upon n, and that selection of H1 can be the problematic function. In practice, we select H1 and then insert as this Hn equal to H1 up, divided by the root of the n. So the convergence of Parsons window estimation with an unlimited number of training samples, it is possible to let Vn approach 0 and have Pnx convergence to the Px. The convergence, we mean the convergence in mean square sense, that is for all x. So the E divided by Pn x equal to Px, and where variable of Px x equal to 0 when the limit goes to n to infinite. That means we want to obtain correct estimates of the average, and the variance within these estimations should be negligible. As the number of training samples approaches infinitely, expectations are taken with the respect of the sequence. So the convergence can be seen here. In order to guarantee the convergence, we must place conditions on the unknown density and the window function, that is phi x, and the window width, that is Hn. We have to make the good condition. The density function must be continuous, the window function must be bounded and legitimate density, and the values of the window function must be negligible at infinitely. Vn always goes to 0 when n goes to infinite, and nvn goes to infinite when n goes to infinite. These are the relations. And probabilistic neural network, that is PNN, we consider now the direct estimation of the posterior probability function and the classification using Parsons window. The probabilistic neural network implement the classification using Parsons window, and basically we use neural network as a tool for probabilistic estimation, and assume that we have n training samples, each d-dimensional feature vector, and sampled randomly from a category C. In order to make it success, PNN for this case, in this case of PNN, we first define D as the input unit comprising the input layer, and second then N pattern unit comprising the pattern layer, and C is the category of the units. So each input unit is connected to each pattern unit. Each pattern unit is connected to one and only one category unit corresponding to the category of the training samples. So a basic neural network is just neurons represented as the vertices of the pattern unit as well as the category. So the connection from the input to pattern unit have modifiable weight. Here weights are assigned and which will be learned during the training. Probabilistic neural network is just simple as we connect multiple neurons and goes to the down hierarchical structure we follow. The training of the PNN consists of selecting the weight based on the training sample, that is x1, x2 up to xn. The training procedure is simple, consisting of three simple steps. First, we have to normalize the training feature vector so that the vector always be 1 for all I equal to 1 to n. Second, set the weight vector, that is Vi, that is always equal to xi for all I equal to 1 to n. Wi consists of weight connecting to the input unit to the pattern unit, and that vector of wi, since the feature vector are normalized, it must be always 1. So in last step we connect the pattern unit I to the category unit corresponding to the category of xi for all I equal to 1 to n. For this PNN, D is the input unit comprising the input layer, N is the pattern unit comprising the pattern layer, and C is the category unit. Each input unit is connected to each pattern unit. Each pattern unit is connected to one and only one category and corresponding the category of the training sample. The connections from the input to pattern unit have modifiable weights, that is W, which can be learned during the training. The trained network is used to classify or normalized as pattern that X in the following ways. Each pattern unit I computes the activation. Here we can see this net I equal to WT IX and emits the non-linear function of the and net I equal to and net I minus 1 that divided by zeta 2, and here summation of the parameter is specified by the user. Each output unit sums the contribution of the pattern unit connected to it. Output unit I gives the value of the discriminant functions corresponding to the category W I. X is classified to the category W for all X. So this was about PNN, how the PNN is used for Parsing window. Assume that the class conditional probabilities are estimated during the using the Parsing window and the Gaussian window function. The PNN implements the computation of the posterior probability for resulting classifier. And the last equality follows from the randomization or normalization condition, where we have to remember that Wi is related to the xi. That's all about PNN and Parsing window density estimation. Thank you so much.